Look, Tim Walz is a joke. His entire administration has been a joke. The idea that he's some sort of freedom fighter, he's not. He's a guy who has enabled fraud and maybe, in fact, has participated in fraud. That's what this new Assistant Attorney General position is going to find out.
Well, just another day of exposure of overwhelming videos showcasing deranged, brainwashed, paid liberals who have no idea what real life is all about. The evil displayed will force more to look into the mirror and wonder why they look so unkempt and distorted. We have witnessed corruption in every damn state. Watch Venezuela celebrate the loss of a dictator. Iran is starting to make big moves. Our gas prices are dropping. And so many positive things going on, folks, going into the weekend. It is hard to keep up with. Thank you for following us on Rumble. We're at 500,000 plus followers. Please hit that follow button. Thank you for hitting the like button on these videos. It helps us get near #1 on the Rumble list. And we certainly appreciate that. Also, we still have some openings for the cruise, March 15th through 22nd, the Freedom Cruise 2026. You'll be able to spend time with me and my family. We're going to have Q&A sessions. We're going to have several podcasters there that you guys are familiar with. And also just wanted to show you a clip from the last cruise that we had. Just a little preview of what you're going to experience.
Just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Just a room packed, filled with And We Know fans, all together, like-minded. And just having such a wonderful time together, folks. And that you saw Laura Logan. That was her last cruise. She won't be on this one. But that was Todd Tillman there singing. We're also going to have Tim Lovelace, the comedian, there. It is going to be a great time. Hope you guys check it out in the description box below at andweknow.com.
We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water. And we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country. But the cartels are running, and they're killing 250, 300,000 people in our country every single year. The drugs, it's horrible. It's devastated families. You know, you lose a child or a parent. I mean, parents are dying too with drugs. So we've done a really good job. We're knocking it down. The numbers are really getting to be, they're always going to be too high if you have one person, but they're going down just like the border. The border was a total mess for years. I did it the first time very quickly, and this time I did it even better because this was a bigger mess. This was a border like no other probably in the history of the world. There's never been a border like that when anybody could just walk into your country.
The border's ostensibly really closed now.
Closed. You can't come in. And nobody comes. Nobody even tries.
Thank God. You know, President Trump is now letting the cartels know, guess what? We're coming at you by land. You stand by. You saw what happened in Venezuela. Well, guess what? It's about to happen to you. Boy, oh boy, they're going to be freaking out. So this came out from the Venezuela.
I understand she's coming in next week sometime. And I look forward to saying hello to her. And I've heard that she wants to do that.
He's talking about the Venezuelan opposition leader, Maria Machado, is planning to personally give her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump.
A great honor. Mm-hmm. I did put out 8 wars, 8 and a quarter, because, you know, Thailand and Cambodia started going at it again. So
I'll put the list up.
I give a quarter, so it's you put the list out. It's a hell of a list. But I've stopped 8 wars, and I think it's been a major understand she's coming in.
That's right. So it's worth bragging about. 8 wars in Venezuela, in case you guys forgot. I mean, it seems like it was yesterday. But those that have been in opposition of all that's going on, of course, they need to wake up, obviously. Their celebration was happening, I believe this was yesterday. The political prisoners were freed in Venezuela. You see the tears, the crying, the hugs, and so much more, folks. That's what it's all about right there. Freedom. People who were held against their will, probably exercising their freedom of speech against evil. And now they're holding their families, and they're in tears. And those liberals, those deranged liberals, those that have no clue what's going on, that like to run around getting paid to protest or make stupid remarks on The View, have no idea what's going on.
An American that hasn't lived the terror of socialism will never understand what is going on right now. I don't care if you have a master's degree in whatever. Unless you live it in your own skin, you won't ever understand it. And I think it's terribly disrespectful for anybody to tell Venezuela how we should react to that. I think it's terribly disrespectful to the people that have died, saying that Maduro shouldn't be where he is. And I left my country with just the clothes I was wearing and a little bit of diapers and milk that I had left. Don't you dare telling me that this is not a reason for celebration.
Amen. Come on.
When I first come into the United States, I cried and had to turn around to my husband and ask him to please help me to open the shower because I didn't even know how to open the shower. When I walked into Walmart and I saw so many options to eat, I couldn't believe myself.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Our reality is different. We want to live. And you guys have everything in this country, more than you could ever imagine. And I just wish that you could love it a little bit more and respect it a little bit more. Because if I had to give my life for America, I would.
Did you catch that? You see the tears. She didn't even know how to open the shower. She'd never seen anything like it. Walking into Walmart, all the food, things that are taken for granted by many. And yet you've got the freaks on the left, the brainwashed, some demon-possessed, most, if not all, in my opinion. Some of you don't like it when I say that, but I'll stick to it. Could be from the line of Cain, for all we know. And they're out there protesting and acting like idiots.
Operation Salvo is just the beginning of a broader and a much more sustained effort to go after not only transnational criminal organizations and networks, but also illegal criminal aliens throughout the country. We are on offense. The Trump administration is using every single tool that we have to protect the American people. Sanctuary policies, whether they're here in New York City, whether they're in California, Illinois, or Minneapolis, if you are a criminal illegal alien, we are coming to get you. We will arrest you. We will bring justice, and we will also bring safety to the American people. We are warning anyone, if you think you can harm an individual, a citizen of the United States, or a law enforcement officer, we will find you and bring you to justice. If you lay a finger on one of our officers, we will catch you, we will prosecute you, and you will feel the full extent of the law. In every single thing the Trump administration does, we put the American people first.
Never forget that. You know, this came up before. Questions came, hey, what about in Scripture where it says we're supposed to love all of these people that come in? There's supposed to be a certain amount of, we love them. We love them and pray for them. And we also escort them into justice for the crimes that they've committed. We send them back home, give them a free ticket. We don't make them pay for it. They give them options to actually apply to come back if they take the option to leave. And we love our people in our country to protect them from criminals. While this is all playing out, You had the shooting from the ICE agent to protect himself from somebody who was breaking the law with a huge weapon, an SUV. And that weapon was being used to run over law enforcement. And she was taken out to protect his life. You know, when this happened with Lake and Riley, you didn't see giant riots happening like I'm going to show you here in Minnesota. You didn't hear all the screaming and these big audiences come out saying, Lake and Riley, protect Lake and Riley. She was beaten to death with a rock by an illegal. Didn't see the left out there screaming like this. Protesters in New York City calling for the hanging of Secretary Kristi Noem and the execution of ICE agents. One woman pushed back saying two wrongs don't make a right and was immediately drowned out. The mob also started chanting curse words. And they were screaming, Kristi Noem will hang, save a life, kill an ICE. You hear that? That is the left. The tolerant left. The ones who stare at everyone saying, do it our way. We are the ones that hold the cards. We are the ones that know better than anybody else how this all works. Kind of reminded me of this clip that we saw from Michael Schellenberger dropping the brutal truth. Left-wing authoritarianism is almost identical to narcissism.
But the new research finds that left-wing authoritarians, people that, support socialist dictators or people that support censorship, you think there should be a committee to decide what you should be allowed to say. Though that it's almost identical with narcissism. And you can sort of see why, which is that you have a strong sense of entitlement. I see this on the censorship stuff all the time. Of course, we the good people should decide what you're allowed to say and hear on social media platforms. That's a sense of entitlement, sense of grandiosity. And then there's a kind of psychopathy or antisocial part of it, which is that they don't really care or even think about the impact on other people. They say they do, but really it's about feeling powerful and domineering. So, lo and behold, the ideology that claims to be more caring and compassionate for the vulnerable actually ends up caring the least about them.
That's right.
And we see it in the WPATH files. The moment that things go sideways, they say, oh, well, that's the fault of the patients. They just have to take responsibility for the choices that they made. So we're sort of getting this question of how do these guys get power? Part of it's through language. And I think it's like the left is so good at language. The left, I think, which is disproportionately, has more of the intellectual class as the universities. They spend a lot of time creating the right language. That's a manipulative language so that you think you're agreeing with something, and then you discover later, oh, that doesn't mean quite what I thought it means.
Right.
Equity is a good example. If you agree with equity, most people think it just means like, I think I'm agreeing to equality of opportunity. No. You're agreeing to equality of outcomes. Completely different thing that actually may undermine the equality of opportunity part.
Yep, that's right.
As we've seen, with racial preferences in hiring and admissions. So yeah, to your question, how did they do this? There is, according to the Ponerology book, in this book, which is really a study of totalitarianism or a study of evil, he says people with these personality disorders, he calls them characterological disorders, but they're personality disorders, particularly the narcissists and the psychopaths, they end up working together in a sense in these institutions. The narcissist will sort of mesmerize you. They're the charismatic intellectuals. They're the ones that really, oh my God, it's so exciting. Trans, that's... It's they're often the intellectuals at the universities. They bedazzle you. You're really thrilled by it. You feel like they're selling you liberation. And then the psychopaths are the ones who will just don't conform.
Yeah. Every single time we see them. I like the fact that he brings up that they have psychological disorders. Oh, man. These disorders were highlighted by Vice President Vance. You know, Renee Good was a member of ICE Watch. Their goal was to disrupt ICE operations, not just some legal observer mom at the wrong place at the wrong time. She was a radical anti-ICE activist, was being paid. The media doesn't want you to know this. Media, they're sick. And I'm going to show you what Vance says about this in a moment.
White ones, we've got clear ones.
Tons of microplastics wash ashore all over the world every day. And now for the first time, scientists in the Netherlands have detected microplastic pollution in human blood.
All the microplastics and nanoplastics we are exposed to, we inhale and we ingest, that actually, there's so much plastic that it can even enter our bloodstream.
The Dutch study on blood samples from healthy adults detected tiny plastic particles in 80% of people.
If microplastic plaque is discovered in your arteries and veins, you are 4.5 times more likely to die from heart attack or stroke. Humans now ingest 6 times more microplastics than in 1990, so trust me, you've got microplastics in your arteries. Microplastics devastate our ability to retain muscle mass and even impact our bone density, making us weak and brittle. Microplastics are altering our DNA by causing DNA damage. This is concerning because it is a known risk factor for disease like cancer. They disrupt our hormones. A recent study shows sperm count and testosterone levels are lower than ever. Avoiding and limiting the use of plastic is not enough. We must take active steps to remove these toxins from the body before they do irreversible damage. BPA is degraded by Bacillus pumilus, a unique strain of bacteria found in kimchi. Another recent study shows that consuming kimchi lowers blood pressure, triglycerides, blood glucose. Kimchi has also been shown to enhance the quality of skin and hair, reduce risk of obesity, improve gut health and digestion. Right now, and we know viewers can get 25% off Kimchi 1 with code AUK at mybrightcore.com/AUK or call 888-317-9941 for up to 50% off, free shipping, and a free bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 only when you call. Again, that's 888-317-9941.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
Yep.
What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before. And everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Way to go there, Marine. Semper Fi, and you guys, many of you know, he worked for me for a little less than a year in public affairs. Sat right next to me when he was a young corporal. Would ever known that we'd both be having heavy responsibilities today, informing the people. He's talking about the crimes committed, the violence, and more. I want to show you Portland here real quick. Police and leftist rioters clash outside ICE Portland after Border Patrol shoot a Tren de Aragua gang member who tried to run them over. Democrats are doubling down on their support for foreign gangs. Nick Sorter says, run this as an ad for 2026. Do you think they've learned? Do you think the information's getting to them that they are psychological? They have psych problems and they need to go to the hospital? No. They've got terrible pasts, probably, most of them. They were brainwashed in college. They believe what they're doing is right, and they're deranged. What will happen to them in Florida if they try this?
Do this.
Florida Sheriff Grady Judd. Here we go.
Send out the message loud and clear. And it should start with the mayor, the police chief, the local sheriff, and the governor of Minnesota. Cooperate with law enforcement officers. Don't resist them. Don't violently resist them. If you do violently resist them, if you do felonious assaults with 2-ton weapons, expect to be shot. Hello everyone, Sheriff Grady Judd here. I've been asked by media outlets and several people to comment on the event that occurred in Minneapolis yesterday. Let me make one thing abundantly clear. You have to be accountable for your conduct. And that starts with the mayor. Did you hear his filthy talk? Did you hear his filthy, uninformed talk yesterday to the people not only of the city and the state, but across the nation? Shame on you. That's lack of professionalism. Now let's look at the event. The investigation's not complete. I am giving you context on the video clip that I saw. Law enforcement officers, federal law enforcement officers, ICE agents, were trying to take the occupant of the car out of the vehicle. During this encounter, the vehicle backed up and then drove directly at the ICE agent. That is a deadly weapon, a 2-ton deadly weapon. So what did the occupant expect? They should have expected to be shot when you commit a deadly assault on a law enforcement officer. So let's do this. Let's send out the message loud and clear. And it should start with the mayor, the police chief, the local sheriff, and the governor of Minnesota. Cooperate with law enforcement officers. Don't resist them. Don't violently resist them. If you do violently resist them, if you do felonious assaults with 2-ton weapons, expect to be shot.
Radical leftists, they built barricaded encampments and blockades around the exact spot in Minneapolis where Renee Good tried to murder an ICE agent by running him over. It's full on anarchy. Minneapolis is turning into a third world trash. And remember, I talk about folks grabbing their cameras and recording. Listen to this.
People. I know y'all ain't gonna like what I got to say right now, but let ICE do their job. Let ICE do their job, and y'all stay out the way. Because now, this 2026, you see now that they're not playing. So please, Stay out of them people's way and let them do their job. That's all. Let them do their job. Y'all putting your lives on the line for people who fraudulent the government. Y'all putting your life on the line for people who don't even care about you. Come on. God rest her soul, man. God rest her soul. But if she was minding her business, she wouldn't be in that predicament right now. For real. She put herself in a line of fire when you're trying to run over an ICE agent. You just don't know how much these guys get tortured. So they tired. They tired of y'all not letting them do their job. I'm sorry, man. I'm not getting involved with it. I'm telling you. Because they are not playing, no matter what color you are. They are not playing. They're here to do a job. If you like it or not. Stay out of them people's way, man. And save your own life. Because they're not playing with us. For real. If you put on them big boy drawers and step in front of them and think you're going to use your vehicle as a weapon, they're going to put on their big boy drawers.
You know, this lady who was trying to run over the ICE agent, her Instagram says she's from Colorado. Her van registered in Mississippi. She had the insurrection in Minnesota. The northernmost part of Missouri is 5.5 hours away from Minneapolis. Why did Renee Good drive at least 350 miles to interfere with federal law enforcement? All the way from Missouri. Deranged, sick, and paid. We got a lot more to cover on this. I wanted to show you real quick before we move on that we've got this 30% off all t-shirts so you can meet like-minded people. That's our And We Know shirts, folks. You'll meet fellow AWK listeners wearing these shirts. Here's more great pictures of patriots wearing our gear. Continue with the corruption. TSA is apparently known for years that Somalis were lying or actually flying with suitcases from Minnesota overseas with money.
What are these cash transfers? There are Somali couriers who come to the airport almost daily with $1,600,000 in cash and a luggage. That sounds a little suspicious, right? It was going on daily, and they were moving about $350 million a year in cash in their luggage out of Minneapolis airport, and then traditionally or predominantly overseas. One of the routes that the TSA saw the money go, it would go from Minneapolis to Europe to Dubai, often through Amsterdam. It was flagged for years. TSA was flagging these payments for years. They grew from $20-30 million a year to $350 million a year the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025. It was literally a foreign ATM taking cash out of the United States to foreign destinations, and we don't know the reason why. But that is now under investigation by the FBI and HSI. And people say, well, is this normal?
Oh, we're just getting started. Scott Bessent is now moving to ban anyone that receives government assistance from wiring money out of the country. So first, you're going to get them. They're trying to carry that cash on aircraft and get them out of the country. What's going to happen if they try to wire money?
So we're lowering that to 3,000.
Oh, good.
And we're also targeting the 2 counties here. And we're going to do enhanced surveillance. And from now on, Anyone who wires money out from one of these money service businesses has to check a box saying whether they are on public assistance. And if you are on public assistance, we are going to start pushing that you cannot wire money out of the country.
Oh, gosh. Well, what if they lie and they don't tell us for public assistance?
Well, then
that's a crime, lying on a federal form.
We're going to follow it up, and we are going to push that you can no longer do that. The American people, our generosity has been taken advantage of.
Our generosity is funding al-Shabaab, an Iranian interest, it could be.
Well, the money.
I mean, this is really bad.
The money is supposed to go for alleged asylum seekers and their families and children. And if you are wiring the money out of the country, one of two things must be true. You are getting too much money and your benefits should be cut, or you are part of this conspiracy. Where did that money come from? We're going to find it out. That's what Treasury does. IRS has a group called Criminal Investigations. Criminal Investigations was the group.
Investigations. They're playing out everywhere. DHS says they've seized mountains of evidence in Minnesota for fraud investigation. Oh, boy.
The Department of Homeland Security will continue to operate on the ground in Minnesota, not only to remove criminal illegal aliens, but also to continue conducting door-to-door investigations of the rampant fraud that has taken place in the state under the failed and corrupt leadership of Democrat Governor Tim Walz. Taxpayers have been ripped off to the tune of billions of dollars in this one state alone. And that is going to end, and people are going to be held accountable. The Trump administration has activated thousands of federal agents, doubled the number of U.S. attorneys in the DOJ office in Minneapolis, and surged resources to hold fraudsters accountable and demand justice for law-abiding American taxpayers and citizens across our country.
Can you imagine, folks? All these law agencies, all the people involved in these investigations, how exciting it must be to be empowered finally to do your job to find criminals. Not only that, with all of our prayers and the power of the Holy Spirit, can you imagine waking up every day, going to work saying, I've got all these files. I'm about to unveil the investigation on so-and-so and so-and-so. And the list grows and grows, and before you know it, arrests start happening. People start getting deported, and you're doing a service for our country. Well, that's going to happen everywhere, including California with ghost daycares.
After what's been exposed with the daycares in Minnesota, I'm a licensed private investigator in California. I started looking into state records, and I found ghost daycares. These are places where the state inspectors showed up. There would be 28 kids enrolled, and there were no kids there in the middle of the day and in the middle of the week.
Oh, boy.
All right. So a ghost daycare. Is that something Gavin Newsom could say, all right, we'll try to shut that down? Does he cooperate when you start raising this?
No. In fact, today, it got word from the governor's office. There's been a directive to actually shut down public access. So right now, you can't even search the own state website to look into these ghost daycares, but I have found a workaround.
Okay, well, we don't want to tell the governor that you found a workaround. So, but it does sound like he's trying to cover his tracks. Like this is a cover-up.
We're talking about billions of dollars in California. Today in New York, Kathy Hochul, she said she wants to increase child care subsidies to $4.5 billion. We're talking about the same amount in California, if not even more.
Kathy Hochul, New York, start spreading the news. $4.5 billion a daycare. So I'm going to show you some stuff on that in a moment. First, when Nick Shirley starts unveiling things on California, his life gets threatened.
You obviously have Skid Row there. That's been a big issue for years. But then you have $24 billion that just went missing for the homeless, that went unaccounted for.
What?
Have you not heard about that?
No.
Over $24 billion went unaccounted for to fight homelessness.
Are you saying million or billion with a B?
Billion with a B.
$24 billion went missing?
She went missing.
California fraud. $24 billion missing for homeless, billions of dollars, for ghost daycares, billions of dollars spent for some railway line they were supposed to build, speed, train, but didn't pan out.
And meanwhile, Gavin Newsom's buying a $9 million mansion in the Bay Area.
You don't say. $9 million house.
Did he really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I got to start putting some allegedlys out there so they can't come after me. But
Well, they're coming after him. He put this out, Nick Shirley. Oh, boy.
it is scary in the sense that, like, they came after me. They tried to debunk me, but they couldn't. And so then they came after my family. They doxed my house. Right now, I have security with my mom all 24/7, and I have to roll with security. And it's not what I wanted.
Oh my God, that's sad, bro.
And it's just because you expose fraud. Like, isn't that something everyone should be celebrating?
On the ladder, is there anyone coming to support you that's like trying to offer you more security or wants you to keep going and continue exposing these people?
Yeah, a lot of people have reached out. For instance, named Officer Tatum. He actually started, like, he has a security company. He has like a nonprofit side where people can donate. And so I have received donations that go like that I can only use for security. So I have to use it. And so that's been great because security is not cheap.
Right.
It's thousands of dollars a day.
Yeah.
Security. You know, folks that come out and start exposing more and more, we're going to have to pray for them. This conservative T. Washington, she's been unveiling all types of information. We played her clip yesterday when she made a call to a daycare there. She's been exposing them. Check this out.
Okay, guys, I live in Washington and there is daycare fraud everywhere. I don't care what people say. I recorded the other day on the findchildcarewashington.org website is where you look for childcare, and there were 136 of them. I have a video. I took a video of it. I wish I would have taken a video of the actual date. Well, when I went back a couple days later, there were only 74, and today there's 73. So we're going to call one. This one is the Family Child Care Center. We're going to put it on speakerphone. They don't even have hours listed, you guys. Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Is this a daycare?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is? What's the name of your daycare center? I'm sorry. When you answered, I didn't get a name.
Yeah, I'm full now. I don't have a space now.
Oh, you're full right now? Okay, yeah, I figured you would be. They all are. So convenient.
Oh, one at a time, huh? Then old Governor Holtz. Remember we mentioned her. She's complaining that President Trump's demanding information on the daycare recipients in New York in order to make sure fraud isn't occurring.
But I take such offense to this war on children. Think about it.
War on children?
What we talking about in November, right before Thanksgiving, that they will not feed our kids. Stop feeding our kids with the SNAP program.
Stop feeding your kids? Do you guys remember that? No, it's stop giving money to illegals, number one. No. Number two, stop feeding them junk food, sugar all day long. No, you give them health food.
Then they're saying we're stopping vaccinating kids because we don't care about their health.
Oh, we don't care about their health. We stop jabbing them and filling them with all types of poisons like formaldehyde and mercury. Now, yeah, I mean, that's how much they can't stand children. Is they're, we can't inject them anymore with the poisons.
We're stopping their parents from being able to provide health insurance that they can afford. And
now we're stopping their health insurance that they can afford. No, it's called the Unaffordable Care Act. Remember that? Remember, Holtz seems to not understand that people can actually do their own research and we don't trust them anymore. And we find out from the people how bad it is, the insurance program. Just one lie after another.
now they're trying to take away our child care program. This will not affect these commitments here today. We're looking at our litigation strategies. They have asked for us within literally 2 weeks to provide volumes of information that is in the 62 counties. They're asking for personal identifying information about people who benefit from these programs.
Good.
As well as their social security numbers.
Good. We want to know where our taxpayer money's going. And we're not going to listen to your lies. And as a matter of fact, who is the father of lies? The devil. The one that she worships.
So they're on a fishing expedition and are saying if we don't give them all this information, which is absolutely impossible to collect.
It's impossible to collect, but it's easy to distribute. We can't give you all that information, but boy, we can find out the information of the people who need this, these billions of dollars. We sure can. We can get that out to them because we need voters. We need illegals. We don't want them to know what's going on. I've had enough. We've had enough. Let me play a small clip here on some of this and how it might pan out.
The reason why white liberal women are the most dangerous things on the planet is quite simple. They have nothing in their life that they have to worry about. No struggles, no problems. They wake up, they got to figure out what coffee they're going to drink, what robe they're going to put on, what shade of makeup they have to put on, or whatever. They don't really have problems in their life. So they're bored and they have nothing to do. And us being humans, thousands of years of being hunter-gatherers and struggling to survive, it's really been like the last 100+ years where Western civilization, you could really just chill and live your life. So it's still hardwired in your DNA to find something to fight against because that's what we've done most of our history. So the white liberal woman with nothing to do, she sees somebody else's problem and she imprints it onto herself. That way, she has something to do. She has something to fight against. And the most dangerous part, she's not bored anymore. I mean, why do you think they put the LGBTQ flag in her bio, the Palestine flag, the Venezuela flag, the Ukraine flag, there's a lot of flags now that I think about it. They was there for BLM, Stop Asian Hate. They start to push all of this stuff because they have nothing themselves that they have to fight against. And this.
What do you guys think about that? Let us know below this video. Some of those comments that are made there. I wanted to show you some more from Vance as he announces the new Assistant Attorney General position will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Stick around. We're going to get to that. Folks, they've done it again. Fix the World Morocco's got those great EMF protection devices. Well, guess what? They've got the And We Know logo on them now. Oh, man, for pendants and phone shields. Each comes with that logo. Moses splitting the Red Sea and the scripture Romans 8:28. So this holiday season, give the gift of EMF protection with Oregon Energy to your loved ones. They've designed several gift-giving bundles of the products at a discount. You buy a bundle and you can split them up into gifts for several people on your list. Well, many people have become sensitive to EMFs, which can cause a number of health issues. Using Oregon Energy products in your environment can protect you from EMF toxicity and help to restore a harmonious environment that aids in better health and well-being. So the results vary from better sleep, pain relief, better growth in plants, food preservation, better mental clarity, and an overall calming effect. So these handmade devices are a composite of shungite, steel, iron oxide, quartz, and brass powders, all encased in an epoxy resin. They emit a passive grounding field of Oregon energy, and when used in your environment, these devices transform the harmful energy given off by electromagnetic frequencies, or EMFs, that come from 5G, your cell phones, Wi-Fi, and electronic devices, into healthy, life-preserving energy. So these Oregon Energy devices, they're available in different shapes and sizes for a variety of different uses. Pendants that you wear, phone shields to use on your electronics, sleeping pods to help protect you at night, charge plates to use for food preservation, pyramids to grid your property, and garden pucks to help your plants grow. They even have construction tiles to help transform your space. And now there are products for your pets and headset protectors. Check out these holiday gift bundles along with new product lines, and be sure to not miss the Cyber Monday sale for additional savings. So go in the description box below, click on ftwproject.com/REF/and we know, and you save 10%. Click in that link in the description box below today.
If you're a young parent struggling to afford childcare in the United States of America, there are programs that we have to make it easier for your kids to get in daycare, for your kids to get in preschool. Those programs should go to American citizens, not be defrauded by Somali immigrants and others. Make it hard for you to get the access to the resources you need. But number two, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country to fleece the United States and our taxpayers to begin with. We have actually activated a major interagency task force to make it possible to get to the heart of this fraud. We have Department of Agriculture resources that are focused on SNAP fraud so that people who need food benefits can get them, but illegal aliens and other fraudsters don't. We have over 1,500 subpoenas that the Department of Justice has issued to get to the heart of the fraud ring. We've done almost 100 indictments, mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And of course, we're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis, it's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible, is we are creating a new Assistant Attorney General position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Now, of course, that person's efforts will start and focus primarily in Minnesota, but it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, the American people have been defrauded in a very nationwide way.
Oh, that's going to carry out even more so. You know, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison were just criminally referred to the Department of Justice for investigation and potential prosecution. Violations include 18 U.S.C. 371 and 18 U.S.C. 2. That's what you get for being complicit in fraud. Lock them up.
I wanted to read a quote from Tim Walz earlier today. He said, "When things looked bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held the line for the nation on July 3rd, 1863, and I think we may be in that moment now." Can you comment on his rhetoric and Mayor Jacob Frey and whether they want to see unrest in Minneapolis?
Well, that's very tough rhetoric from a guy who just quit because his fraudulent activities have been uncovered. Look, Tim Walz is a joke. His entire administration has been a joke. The idea that he's some sort of freedom fighter, he's not. He's a guy who has enabled fraud and maybe, in fact, has participated in fraud. That's what this new Assistant Attorney General position is going to find out. I don't care what Tim Walz says. I care about getting to the bottom of this fraud for the American people, and I care about enforcing the nation's immigration laws. That's what we're going to stay focused on.
Outstanding. You know, RFK Jr. has been doing a great job when we come to the health of our nation. He mentioned, if you guys remember, on January 20th, the Trump White House will advise all U.S. water systems to remove fluoride from public water. Fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders, and thyroid disease. President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump want to make America healthy again. That reminds me, before I keep going, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I had it up. We had a live Q&A last night at 7 p.m. with Dr. Shockley. If you guys want to check it out, go to our Rumble, watch it. It was almost 3 hours long of questions coming in from folks. You're definitely going to enjoy it, speaking of health. So I just want to throw that one in there real quick. We had a great time. Remember that food pyramid that was given out to us, the new food pyramid from HHS, US Gov under Trump Kennedy is upside down, says SG Anon, right? He says, one of the foundational symbols used in the Illuminati dark religion of poison and power, that pyramid, has now been strung up and inverted for the entire world to see by the same institution they used to mass poison the American people for decades. Patriots are in control. Human freedom is the prize.
Thanks to them, starting next fall, when parents drop their kids off at school, they will know that the right side up pyramid will be hanging in the classroom. And that was just the beginning. Last summer, we started meeting with medical schools and residency programs and accreditors. And we've had very good conversations with them. And because of that, next fall, medical students and residents will finally be taught the core basis of health, which is nutrition.
Yeah. All this health stuff, it's been coming up. RFK Jr. suggests fewer people getting the flu vaccine may be a good thing.
Making with your physician, which is how it
So
ought to be.
fewer people will get the flu vaccine.
Well, that may be, and maybe that's a better thing.
Based on
We don't-
what evidence? There were 290 kids who died last year due to the flu. There's no evidence that any kids died or were harmed due to the flu vaccine. So isn't this inevitably going to
Well,
lead to more children dying?
So instead of asking a question in a logical way, she's trying to lead the witness, asking him the question as if he's stupid and she's smarter than him. Typical liberal. Stupidity from a reporter, has no idea what she's doing. Well, she knows what she's doing. She's probably trained by the CIA to cause this type of questioning. RFK Jr., don't you realize what the numbers are? Do you realize how stupid you sound right now? I'm the expert. I've done the research. Let him answer.
The Cochrane collaboration, which is kind of one of the ultimate arbiters of vaccine safety and clinical data, has done an extensive meta-review of the flu vaccine. And they found that there is no evidence that the flu vaccine prevents serious disease or that it prevents hospitalizations or death in children. There's no scientific evidence, and what we tried to do is to follow the science.
90% of the kids who died from flu last year were unvaccinated for the flu.
Baloney.
What I'm telling you is that there is no scientific evidence, and according to the Cochrane collaboration, which is the meta-review of all the scientific studies out there, there is no scientific evidence that the flu vaccine prevents serious illness, hospitalizations, or death in children.
Thank goodness I haven't had a flu vaccine in a long time since waking up to all of their lies. Hey guys, here's a man-made product filled with all types of junk. Stick this into your body every single year and trust us. We don't need holistic type of methods that the Lord has provided from the earth. Use the man-made stuff. Here's Dr. Ben Carson.
I have a very good friend, had a very difficult case of diabetes, very difficult to manage. He went to Italy, and within 2 weeks, it was gone. He was staying at a villa. All the fresh foods were grown right there, the dairy products, no processing. Within 2 weeks, the diabetes was gone. He stayed for 3 months. He came back here. Within 2 weeks, it was back. And I don't think that's an exceptional case. So it tells us what we need to do. I'm praising God that we have the clarity and the leadership to get it done.
So a guy goes to Italy, cleared up of his diabetes, comes back to America 2 weeks later, his diabetes kicks back in. It's American food. Did you guys realize all this? Did you know it all?
It was a big day for school lunch programs, for school districts, houses of worship, food served at military bases, people trying to figure out what should I be eating. And we have ended an era of medical dogma where in the past, the only thing that has been recommended is to avoid fat. And fat was the boogeyman for really no good scientific reason, except that it was the dogma passed on generation to generation. We are no longer recommending high cereal, bread, grain, pasta, food pyramid base. That is the big part of the food pyramid. We are moving on to a scientific-based approach to say we need more protein. There's not enough protein in the diet of the vast majority of kids. We've increased the protein guideline by 50 to 100%. You want whole grains, that is grains bound to fiber, fruits and vegetables, and there's nothing wrong with fat. You don't need to serve kids low-fat foods like low-fat dairy. These are natural, healthy, saturated fats, and we say that in the report.
It's about time. That's the FDA commissioner. Folks, I was a bodybuilder for many years, very successful, won many lightweight and bantamweight size natural competitions. And I can't tell you the number of times I couldn't stand eating that chicken every single day so I could get to 3% body fat. But boy, you need protein to get that muscle to stay pretty strong and healthy. And I did a lot of protein shakes and more back then. Folks are starting to wake up to this. A lot of people that are into health and working out and more knew this for a long, long time. So it's about time we started bringing this information straight to the people. They definitely need help. Other areas that were getting support from President Trump, Biden ignored the housing market and instead it was immersed with high crime, open borders, runaway inflation, the Afghanistan disaster, and a military that he left in chaos and confusion. Everything was broken. But I, as President of the United States, have already fixed it, says President Trump. Now I am giving special attention to the housing market because I chose not to sell Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in my first term, a truly great decision. And against the advice of the experts, it is now worth many times that amount, an absolute fortune, and has $200 billion in cash. Because of this, I am instructing my representatives to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds. This will drive mortgage rates down, monthly payments down, and make the cost of owning a home more affordable. It is one of my many steps in restoring affordability, something that the Biden administration absolutely destroyed. We are bringing back the American dream that was destroyed by the last administration. Make America great again.
President Trump inherited these very problems when he took office last January, and he has since fixed them one by one. In just one short year, President Trump has delivered a historic economic turnaround to put our country back on the path to prosperity. And news alert, the numbers are starting to show it. The trade balance was the best since 2009. And the layoff intentions, they are the lowest since 2024. So we are back on track. In 2025, the president laid the foundation for powerful economic growth with the historic passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is actually the Working Families Tax Cut Act. Trade deals that rewrote decades of government misalignment and an ambitious deregulation agenda that empowered American entrepreneurs and business. Now, in 2026, we will reap the rewards of President Trump's America First agenda.
Outstanding. Breaking news, numbers released show that the United States of America has the lowest trade deficit since 2009 and going even lower. In addition, our nation's gross domestic product, GDP, is predicted to come in at over 5%, and that is after losing at least 1.5% to the Democrat shutdown. These incredible numbers and the unprecedented success of our country are a direct result of tariffs, which have rescued our economy and national security. I hope the Supreme Court is aware of these historic country-saving achievements prior to the issuance of their most important ever decision. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Absolutely amazing. Now I want to head over to Iran. Okay? This is Tehran. Let that sink in. You're watching a revolution unfold live while the world's media stays dead silent. Legacy media has become nothing more than a propaganda machine because what news could possibly be bigger than this? It's from Sana Ibrahimi. Day 12 in Iran, a nationwide internet blackout with much phone service cut. Iranian security forces have killed at least 45 protesters. Millions have taken to the streets in every city across Iran.
Let's go to Mashhad, the second largest city and the so-called holy Shia city for the regime, rising up, kicking off, and of course, the famous chant of "This is the final battle, Pahlavi is returning."
Let me go forward to what he talks about here.
Now, of course, the regime, the IRGC military are on the ground. They are fighting massively against their own people, which is disgusting. At the end of this revolution, it's not just going to be the political leadership of the Islamic Republic who, when they're captured, they have to face justice. The commanders and the generals and everybody who is now doing this to their own people, they also have to face justice, because in Mashhad, we have a video that I'm about to show you. Iranians are now begging President Trump for help. This man actually attempted to do it in English.
And they are begging Trump for support. I'm showing that picture on your screen. Stickers are spotted across Iran. Trump, Iran is waiting for you. Now, New images in the streets of Iran showing these stickers slapped on buses, cars, and walls reading Trump, Iran is waiting. Not in English, in Persian. They're showing up in multiple cities, and locals are clearly sending a message to Trump. It looks like after years of protests, crackdowns, and economic collapse under the current regime, some Iranians are openly calling for Trump to fulfill his promise and attack the regime if the protests get worse. So you got the massive power grid failures plunging the Iranian capital, 16 provinces into darkness. Crowds are swarming the streets. And it comes after Delta Force has position on the Iraq-Iran border. Listen to this from President Trump.
Are you following the protesting that is taking place all over the country of Iran
Yeah,
now?
I'm following it very
And
closely.
have you read that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has a plan B to go to Russia?
Or someplace, yeah. He's looking to go someplace.
Do you believe that
It's getting very
Iran,
bad.
you think the country is on the verge of collapsing?
Well, it could be. I mean, what they've done is in the past, they've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. We're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard.
Watch Iran. You know, U.S. Department of Labor put this out. Trust the plan, trust Trump. Trust the plan. Wow, that's interesting because it becomes obvious that that's a Q drop. Trust the plan. Another Q references that it's undeniable. Paul Florence said it doesn't get much more obvious than this. As an aside, it was posted at 5:27. Have a look at 5:27 on the Q board. Monday, next week, bigger, public, we listen, 2080. 4060. Hey, boy. Maybe the Insurrection Act, who knows? President Trump stated it.
I'm allowed to use the Insurrection Act. In fact, that was on Stephanopoulos today, his Sloppodopoulos show. They asked Sloppy Chris Christie about the Insurrection Act. He said, well, you're talking about the Insurrection Act. He's got the absolute right to use that. And he said a couple of things. He said 50% of the presidents that served in office have used the Insurrection Act.
Yep.
And the Insurrection Act, according to all of them, said it can't even be challenged. I don't have to go there yet because I'm winning on appeal. You know, you're right. We're losing with radical left judges, generally, radical left judges, and we're winning on appeal.
You never know. They're waiting. Let's get to the precipice. Feeling all of this would be, if you head to an old basketball game, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm just going to go out and watch the NBA. Get away from everything. I don't want to be bothered. You walk into the stadium, and all of a sudden they have a moment of silence.
And our hearts are with our community as we hope for healing and unity during this challenging time. Please join us in a moment of silence.
A moment of silence for the woman who attempted to kill an ICE agent with her vehicle at a basketball game. Wow. You know, the Trust the Plan drop from Department of Labor. Grasshopper's always digging deeper into things. I mean, look, guys, if you look at his stuff, it's just all over the place where he's connecting the dots. It's amazing. And he's able to catch the following things. Public awakening message spreading wide and far. Monday, to all those who doubled or doubted Sessions and Huber, you will all pay the price very soon. Monday, next week, bigger, public, we listened. Time in between, 32. Maybe one day, but it cannot go slow. The initial wave will be fast and meaningful. It will send a signal to others immediately, and you'll see the tide turn. Not even the mainstream media can hide. And rest assured, some will be jailed as deep cover agents. Q342 was on there. Hard day at work today, Q. Welcome back. Future proofs past end is near. And then you had the 123-second total on the video. Q123, nothing is random. Everything has meaning. Never forget that.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you once again, just so thankful for how you continue to guide and direct our lives, helping so many people out there gather information, share it with many others, and get this across platforms that create new discovery for many of us. You're waking up those masses that have been lied to for so long by the enemy. His lies continue to spread from these evil politicians, the deranged leftists who are brainwashed. We actually lift them up to you in prayer that somehow, some way, their minds would be jarred to wake up and realize what they're doing and how evil it is. It's sickening. We also have to recognize your plan, how you have superseded all others. You have always shown us victory in the end in so many stories, no matter how they play out, no matter how imperfect humans have been throughout time since the beginning. You have still allowed things to go in a way where you prove yourself, above all, our amazing Creator. We ask that you continue to protect those on the front lines, those that are on, especially the ICE agents and other agents out there on the streets, in danger day in and day out. We know the attacks will continue to come, but you're protecting them, watching over them. May continue. And we look to you and bring all this in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. And folks, continue to lift us up in prayer and send us these amazing positive comments and emails. We love it. We got many that said they want to see more cruises in the future. We'll work on that and see what we can do. But for now, we're just so grateful to be here. What a great time to be alive. For now, it's LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
The idea that he's some sort of freedom fighter, he's not. He's a guy who has enabled fraud and maybe in fact has participated in fraud. That's what this new Assistant Attorney General position is going to find out.